I didn't believe this myself. Shut up. I didn't believe this myself. The end of the times, the end of days, the end of the world, Armageddon, the apocalypse, the four horsemen, the revelations, chapter 6, 1 through 7, 17. I didn't believe it till I grab the Bible, read it. Read it in King James Version, New Testament, just stay away from the Mormon Bible. Grab the Bible and read it. If you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, I feel sorry for you. Turn to God, turn to Jesus Christ. It's the only way. Because we're living in the end times right now. Look what the Democrats are doing. They took In God We Trust out of the Congress. They took it out where they say, where all those witnesses that testified against Trump for impeachment, they didn't swear to God. They took In God We Trust. They took out We Swear to God. Pope Francis has it set in stone. May 14, 2020. Listen to Mother Miriam.
News, and it all has to do with ruining our society, ruining our culture, destroying the family. I'm not going to give you anything that's not utterly public. And the headline is Pope Francis invites religious political leaders to sign global pact for new humanism. Did you hear that, beloved? A new humanism. It's not a better humanism. It really is a new humanism, not the one that God gave. It is an attempt to simply control the population of the world. It will be destructive, it will be immoral, and that's what it attempts to do. Pope Francis has announced he is hosting an initiative for a global pact to create a new humanism. The global event to take place at the Vatican on May 14th, 2020, that's next year, is themed Reinventing the Global Educational Alliance. Can you imagine? In the scriptures, St. Paul says, what alliance has Christ with Belial, which is the devil? And now we're doing it. Now we're doing it. Now it's planned for the church, headed by the Pope, to do it. So as to, quote, hand on to younger generations a united and fraternal common home. And I'll tell you, beloved, it is the common home of the devil. There is no common home we have but heaven. The Pope says, listen, a global educational pact is needed to educate us in universal solidarity and a new humanism.
Terry, we are in
communists set out to do. The Bible has entered into the church, and it has been bought by the very Pope himself and the hierarchy. Christ was never mentioned in this article. There's nothing of Christianity in this at all. Nothing. Beloved, this is against God. This is demonic. This is not to protect the family at all. You'll see later on, weaving relationship with families. Pope Francis asserted the need to create an educational village in which, quote, all people, according to their respective roles, share this task of forming a network of open human relationship, an educational village which will once and for all destroy the family and the human race. I don't believe that was an omission on his part.
And when was the Muslims first? Well, the Muslims always been around. When was ISIS first inserted? 1999. I have it on my Twitter feed. Lock her up. Lock HRC up. It's the pin post. It's from WikiLeaks. I think I've read it in the past. You can find it on my YouTube of this. I've read in the past to you guys about how Bush, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, it's been implanted for a long time. Let's go back to World War I, World War II. Let's go back to World War II. Hitler, his book, Mein Kampf. Now, what I have in front of me right now is the King James, the New Testament recovery version. I have Revelations chapter 6:1. It says the seven seals, the mystery of God's economy, 6:185. And then it says the first seal, a white horse and its rider, the preaching of the gospel, 6:1 through 2. Then it goes on to the second seal, a red horse and its rider, the spread of war, 6:3 through 4. Then it goes on to the third seal, a black horse and its rider, the increase of famine, 6:5 through 6. Then it goes on to the fourth seal, the pale horse and its rider, rampant death, 6:7 through 8. Then it goes on to the fifth seal, the cry of the souls underneath the altar, the prayer of the martyred saints from paradise for vengeance, 6:9 through 11. Wasn't there a city called Paradise City in California? Wasn't it burned down to the ground and no one lives in there? That city's gone. The city's gone. Paradise, California. There goes your revelation right there. The sixth seal, the shaking of the earth and heaven, the beginning of the great tribulation. A warning to earth dwellers, chapter 6:12 through 17. Now another thing, it's called HARP, man-made weather machine. We've been having a lot of earthquakes, a lot of hurricanes, a lot of tornadoes, a lot of deaths. Look at Hurricane Harvey in Texas. Irma, Haiti, earthquake of Haiti. We can go back a long time. What about Hurricane Katrina? It's all revelations, guys. You can't add 1 plus 1, then I don't know you. Then you don't know nothing. Chapter 7. The visions inserted between the 6th and 7th seals. 7:1, chapter 7:1, 1 through 17. 144,000 and a 12 tribes sealed, the chosen Israelites preserved on earth. Now I'm going to play you something else. Listen. Too bad I got to play it off my iPad, but listen. If it plays.
The vision continues. The Lamb has appeared. What happens next in terms of the structure of this remarkable book?
Well, we've been told that the Lamb is the one who has the authority and the power to open the seals of a scroll that has something to say about the future, a prophetic scroll.
Yeah.
And so there are 7 of these seals. 7 is, of course, the magic number throughout the book of Revelation, 7 trumpets, 7 seals, 7 vials, and then 2 sets of visions that aren't numbered but come out of the structure of 7.
Yeah.
So 7 is important. it's interesting the way the visions are structured throughout this sequence of 7. There are 4 that come very rapidly, and then the pace seems to slow down with Vision 5 and Vision 6 when those seals are opened. And then there's a kind of interlude in Chapter 7 before we get to the opening of the 7th seal, which simply introduces the next sequence of 7.
Right.
And that interlude is very important too. So it's important to keep in mind the structure here, because there's an alternation between images of death, doom, and destruction as the seals get opened, and an image of divine sovereignty, of grace, of protection for those who believe in that interlude vision.
Yeah, and I think all the way through, it's so easy to focus on the kind of doom that we forget that that other alternative and antithetical sense of grace for those who believe is constantly being played in. Maybe not at enormous length, but with enormous consistency. I think the interview does that. So tell us a little about the seals and the opening of the seals.
Well, the seals lead immediately into another set of images, the 4 horsemen of the Book of Revelation, not to be confused with the famous backs of the Notre Dame football team. In any case, the 4 horses come from the Book of Zechariah, and there they serve to provide an image of divine judgment that's going to happen in Zechariah's opinion on earth. But the first of these horses is a white horse, and it doesn't seem to be exercising a ministry of destruction.
Right.
And it's anticipating the final vision in chapter 19, where there's a warrior who comes on a white horse, and we'll have to think about what that all signifies when we get to chapter 19. But the rest of the horses introduce disasters of one sort or another until we get to the 5th seal. And what happens there is martyrdom. And what the author is reflecting here is the experience of early Christian communities that had undergone oppression and resistance from various sources. We hear in the pages of the New Testament about Stephen, the first martyr, the proto-martyr in Jerusalem. We hear in Paul's early correspondence, 1 Thessalonians, that community had suffered at the hands of its neighbors.
Right.
So Christians were not exactly popular in many of the places where they popped up. And we know that before the Jewish revolt in 66, there was a great persecution in Rome after the Great Fire of Rome in 64. So the movement had encountered resistance. And I think that's what the 5th seal is referring to. This is a fact of Christian life.
Some of the material I read on Revelation raises a question that we've been raising in New Testament studies for a long time. Are there moments of kind of empire-wide persecution, or is this more localized? So there's the Rome moment, and then somewhere else, Thessalonian moment. When I was but a child, we saw Quo Vadis, and the idea was that at that point, probably inaccurately, that Nero had set out people to burn Christians all over the Roman Empire, and Deborah Carr, as I remember, died very painfully at the hands of beasts, letting the powers of the empire make her a martyr. How is it widespread, or is it localized? Or
I think it's largely localized. And there's been some recent scholarship on this that's indicated that a lot of the images of martyrdom and persecution are exaggerated in later accounts. But we do know that it did happen in particular local circumstances. We have in the 2nd century, not far from where the Book of Revelation is centered, the correspondence of Pliny, the Roman governor, to Trajan. And he talks about the fact that he was examining people for their Christian belief, and because people had brought to him the problem that there was an economic impact of these Christians. They weren't buying statues and that kind of thing. In any case, he engages in a very local and very short-term persecution of Christians, and writes back to the emperor to see if he did the right thing. And basically, the emperor wrote back and said, "Don't ask, don't tell. If it comes to your attention, fine, treat them the way you did, but don't go looking for them." And I think that was pretty much the Roman attitude overall, with some exceptions here and there where local persecutions break out. But in Asia Minor, I think the main concern of our author is not so much with imperial authority as it is with local folk who support the imperial system. And we'll see that a little later.
All right. So then after this fifth seal with the martyrs, we have a sixth seal, which seems to be cosmic chaos, earthquakes, darkness.
Right. The sixth seal reminds us an awful lot of descriptions of the end time that we get at places like Mark 13.
Yeah.
So it's almost you could say run-of-the-mill standard apocalyptic expectation of trials and tribulations before the day of the Lord.
Yeah.
And we'll see this time and again throughout the book. I think you mentioned a little earlier on in our conversations that there's a kind of recapitulation of the same message time and again. And this, I think, is a good example of that. It's not the case that we have one set of end-time tribulations here and another set down the road. The author is referring to the same expectations all along.
So are we, the readers and hearers of this in the end of the first century, are we in the end time, is he saying? Look carefully, or this is beginning to happen, or... I think absolutely we want to move it from the first century to our century, but if I'm a first century reader...
It's really interesting to think about what the concrete expectations of end-time events might have been in the mind of John. And it's difficult to pin down. It reminds me a little bit of Paul's message in 1 Thessalonians, where we have... Paul addressing the question of what happens to people who have died.
Yeah.
And we know, the people in Thessalonica seem to say, that Christ is going to be coming back, and we know that we're going to be in a good position when he does. What about our dead relatives?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And so Paul has to come back and say the dead in Christ will rise first. But as soon as he gets through with that bit of consolation, he tells the folk in Thessalonica, the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. And it really doesn't matter when it comes. Whether we're asleep or awake, he says, we're in Christ, and that's what's important. I think the book of Revelation is saying...
Just like what Q said, remember? Remember what Q said on IQ boards? Right now we have a secret operation of military army in Washington, D.C. that's going on right now. Okay? Right now they're on vacation, these fucktard bastards, do-nothing Democrats. And the rhinos. They're on vacation, right? Okay. They're trying to impeach 45. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, Maxine Waters. If you watched Ryan's video, Fed Up Warrior, on YouTube, you'll know what I'm talking about. His last video he made about Maxine Waters and Kamala Harris, that they've been tested, they've been given money for California for homelessness in LA and San Francisco. They've been tested. Well, see, they ain't gonna pass the test. You know they're gonna steal that $16 billion. Anyways, the other day when I was digging around on YouTube, I found this old video. Remember Hillary Clinton wrote a book, It Takes a Village? But she stole words from Hitler's old book, Man Camp, whatever the fuck that word is. I want you guys to listen to Bob Enyart. He doesn't have that many followers on Twitter, which I think he should have at least 100,000 or 1 million followers on Twitter, because this guy is from the Pastor Christ of Denver, Colorado. He's a priest also, and he does a talk show, and he is for fighting for the good, not for the evil. Listen to what he said. I found this. It's a 7-minute long video. Listen.
In the country. This is Bob Enyart, America's most popular self-proclaimed right-wing religious fanatic, homophobic, anti-choice talk show host. Someone brought me a copy out of the library of Hillary's book, It Takes a Village, by Hillary Clinton, and I'm real excited to get the book because she's out on her publicity tour. I'm going to read these quotes. It takes a village to raise a child. That's the idea in Hillary's book. It's supposedly an old African proverb that some liberal probably made up recently. Well, anyway, it takes a village to raise a child, all about children. and what our responsibility toward children are. And I think many of the statements in this book are not only wrong, but they're corrupt and maybe even evil. Maybe not maybe, they're evil, they're wicked, they're destructive. So I'm going to read 2 or 3 of them real short, real to the point, and I am saying that these are the notions of a wicked person. These are not the writings, the thoughts of a good person, a righteous person. They're the writings of an evil person. So I would like to hear only, you guys haven't hung up yet. I see all the lights here. I'd like to hear only from someone who, hearing this quote from Hillary Clinton here, It Takes a Village by Hillary Clinton, I'd like to hear from someone who agrees with Hillary that these are smart things and then obviously disagrees with me. And that's it. I won't take a call from anyone else, at least not at the beginning of the show. So here are the quotes. First we go to page 403. It Takes a Village by Hillary Clinton. Page 403. The government must declare the child to be the most precious treasure of the people. Right? That's Hillary Clinton, quote number 1. And It Takes a Village. The government must declare the child to be the most precious treasure of the people. I think that is a despicable. I think that is a despicable thought, and the person who wrote that is manifestly despicable, criminal, and wicked. All right, now we'll go to the next page, page 404. The government's concern belongs more to the child than to the adult. What do you think of that? I say it's despicable. I say it's criminal. We'll try this again. Caller. Hello, caller.
Hi.
Hi. Do you agree with Hillary?
Yes, indeed.
You agree with these quotes? Let me read them to you one by one, and you tell me if you agree or not. All right?
Certainly.
What's your name?
Tom.
Tom? Tom, what city are you calling from?
Milford Bay, Ontario.
Milford Bay, Ontario. Cool. All right, Milford Bay, Ontario. All right, now here we go. Here are the quotes. You know Hillary's on her book tour, right? Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, she's promoting this book, It Takes a Village. And here's the first quote. The government must declare the child to be the most precious treasure of the people. You agree with that sentiment generally?
Certainly.
All right, here's the next page, page 404. The government's concern belongs more to the child than to the adult. Do you agree that the government should be more concerned with the child than the adult?
Yeah, okay.
All right, and then the last one is that the government's financial irresponsibility turns the blessing of children into a curse for the parents. That the government should help parents so that their children would be a blessing and not a curse. You agree with that?
Yeah, I did.
All right, Tom, you're not very convincing, but I'll go with it. All right, now this book here, can you see it? I have it in my hands. It Takes a Village by Hillary Clinton. Could you see that?
Yeah.
You can see it way up there in Ontario. That's amazing how satellites work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, somebody gave me the. Look at this book. Somebody gave me this out of the library, but it looks so old. And since Hillary's book is brand new, I don't understand. Oh my! Look at. You know what somebody did? Jerry, did you do this? Somebody put Hillary's book cover on top of an old book. This is not Hillary's. Oh my! Look at this book. I can't even believe it. Could we zoom in on this book, please? Could we zoom in? Yeah, get that closer. Do you see this, Tom? In Ontario? Let me show you the title.
That's wrong.
Let me show you the title page here.
That's wrong.
Let me show you the title page.
That's wrong.
Adolf Hitler wrote a book called Mein Kampf.
Mr. Bob Enyart?
Yeah.
Mr. Bob Enyart?
Yeah.
My name is Tom from Milford Bay, Ontario.
Yeah, I know that. We've discussed that already.
Now, I read that book when I was 18 years old.
What? Hitler's Mein Kampf?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
and what's your point?
Now, I know evil. Now, I know the truth about evil.
Oh,
You cannot show that book and tell the truth.
Hey, Tom.
If you want to cut me off, that's fine. That's cool.
Tom,
That's all right.
Tom, no, only if you become totally irrational. Hey, Tom, those quotes were written by Adolf Hitler.
Now, you must understand, you can take out a quote of Adolf Hitler. My God, sir.
Well,
I appreciate your thinking, but my God.
Will you stop using the Lord's name in vain?
I have never been...
All right? Now, listen, Tom.
Listen, you must understand, Mein Kampf.
Tom,
Mein Kampf is evil.
All right, I'm going to hang up on you because you're just babbling. Okay, goodbye to Ontario. Adolf Hitler wrote this book, Mein Kampf, a long time ago. He was a wicked and evil man. And if you go through this book, you'll find incredible similarities. Incredible. Not all of it, of course. But
Like I've been saying from the past, we never needed to go to war. We never needed to go to war. War was implanted to try to dumb down the human minds. For example, my mom. Now I'm gonna make my mom an example, but she listens to the news. Oh, ABC, NBC, CBS, WGN, CNN, MSNBC, whatever news outlet she listens to. This is just an example, my mom. Our parents dumbed us down when we were little to listen to them. Our parents dumbed us down when we were little to listen to them. We were told to believe this and that and that. We were told to believe climate change was real. Climate change ain't real. It's Mother Earth, the way it recycles. It's Mother Nature. You guys understand? I know you do, Barry. I know you do, Dave. I know whoever else is listening understands this. But there's something else that's been delivered. When Trump and Melania did their wonderful speech for the end of the year, for their Christmas speech. You gonna have to listen.
Our fellow Americans, Melania and I are delighted to wish America and the entire world a very Merry Christmas.
At this time of year, we see the best of America and the soul of the American people. We see children packing boxes to brighten the Christmases of our brave men and women in uniform. We see families reaching out to neighbors in need. And we see communities coming together to serve one another.
In the season of joy, we spend time with our families. We renew the bonds of love and goodwill between our citizens. And most importantly, we celebrate the miracle of Christmas. For Christians, we remember the story of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph that began more than 2,000 years ago. As the book of Isaiah tells us, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." This good news is the greatest Christmas gift of all, the reason for our joy, and the true source of our hope.
This Christmas season, we celebrate our blessings as Americans, and we pray for peace all over the world.
On behalf of Melania, myself, Barron, and the entire Trump family, God bless you, God bless America, and have a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Now I'm gonna go into QMAP real quick, and I'm gonna go look at it real quick, and I'm gonna read you last few drops I did last night. Even though we know it's not the real Q, but still, everything has a meaning. Hold on a sec. QMAP, come on, stupid iPad. I gotta go through my iPad. I can't go through the computer because I'm using the computer for this podcast. And anyways, okay, so last night they said Obama's corrupt book deal. Imagine what would happen. Hold on, I need to get it. Imagine what would happen if by law, every U.S. congressman, woman, U.S. senator, president, etc. is U.S. law audited every 1 to 2 years by an independent agency. Imagine what would happen if audits extended to all family members of such elected official. Would these continue to push for foreign aid to other countries versus the homeland? What happens when the kickbacks dry up? Maxine Waters' $4 million house, Nancy Pelosi's net worth $150 million, Joe Biden's son, brother net worth tens of millions, Clinton's family $200 million, pre-election of Bill Clinton less than $1 million, Obama's family $40 million, pre-election less than $1 million, disguised under book deals. Those who take are offered more powerful positions within a party controlled. Drain the swamp. U.S. taxpayer, federal government, Fed government, Hassan, Piercing Publishing. Piercing Publishing, Hassan, Biden, follow the money corruption. Right now, and Obamas have Netflix, right? Along with George Soros. Now, let me get the other Twitter status. Hold on. What is Twitter status? I think it's what's his face? Attorney General Barr asking the question that needed to be asked. Let me see, where is it? Give me a moment, guys. Piercing CEO to retire on company will sell remaining Penguin Random House stake. Resignation. Piercing CEO resigned yesterday. Let me go to my homepage so I can get you the rest of the Q drops. Hold on 1 second. Where is it? If I audio. Okay, we already read the book deals. Oh man, come on. Read the book deals. Resignation. Do you believe in coincidence? Something big is coming. Just to let you know, something big is very coming. They are fighting for their lives. Just to let you know, when Trump retweeted his own tweet yesterday about Donald Trump retweeting himself 2 hours later after heading home. Wow, crazy Nancy, what's going on? This is big stuff. ON exposes those Democrats and the Ukraine ties, Joe and Hunter and Nancy and Paul. Seems like it's a family affair. What's going on here? Pay attention to 113 in this video as it's been removed from social media. Hold on, let me get you that video. 1 second, bear with me, guys. Donald Trump. Where's Donald Trump? I was supposed to be prepared, but unfortunately you can't prepare everything. It's always on the go. Here it is.
Family, the Pelosi's may be the next to come under scrutiny. An old promotional video resurfaced on Thursday, more than 6 years after it was uploaded by an energy company which does business in Ukraine. The video starts out with Nancy Pelosi speaking about her efforts in office to push for clean energy.
Breaking our crippling addiction to oil.
Her message is followed by a promotional statement from her son Paul, who is a board member of Visk Oil and an executive at its related company Energy Lab.
My name is Paul Pelosi. Of course, I'm on the board of Viscal Oil. And Viscal's here today to talk about accelerating the future. And that's what Viscal Oil does. It uses technology to maximize the use of natural resources, like oil and other resources.
Just 2 years after this video was uploaded, Pelosi led a congressional delegation to Ukraine to discuss issues like energy security. And her son traveled to the country as recently as 2017 on behalf of the Corporate Governance Initiative, where he now serves as executive director. While the official reason given for his visit was to discuss a youth soccer partnership program with the Ukrainian government, clips of that trip are now reportedly being removed from online. One of those clips was saved by the American Mirror on Twitter with the caption, "What's really going on here?"
So you have a corporate governance business, and you're here in Ukraine speaking with representatives from the government, investment bankers, discussing certain things related to soccer.
Exactly.
This comes as Hunter Biden faces similar allegations that he used his father's position to make lucrative business deals in Ukraine and China. Kara McKinney, One America News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on
Now,
the link below and
shut up.
subscribe.
Hold on. Let me get back to that tweet thread so I can read you more what's going on. Because that's something big is coming. Okay. Something big is coming. And here's the question. Here's the question.
But also, a few weeks ago, I told him that he should spend just as much attention on the post-election period. And I did that because of some of the stuff that Horowitz has uncovered, which to me is inexplicable. Such as? Well, what I said is their case collapsed after the election, and they never told the court, and they kept on getting renewals on these applications. There was documents falsified in order to get these renewals. There was all kinds of withholding of information from the court. And the question really is, what was the agenda after the election that kept them pressing ahead after their case collapsed? This is the President of the United States.
What was their agenda that kept their... What was the agenda to keep them going after the case collapsed, right? Right. So something big is coming, just to let you know. Now let me take you to what they were trying to install onto us, this climate change by the crisis actress Greta Thunberg. She's 26 years old, which we have learned, but rumors are rumors, as they say. Remember Greta Thunberg? This is all wrong.
My dreams, my message is that we'll be watching you. This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare!
How dare you? How dare we? How dare we? Okay, first of all, little girl, or 26-year-old, crisis actor, reading from the script, acting. This, like I said, right now what we're going on, we're cleaning up this evilness in the world. It's being cleaned up. Don't deny it. Don't sit there thinking, oh no, it's not going to happen. Don't sit there thinking, no, it's not going to happen. It is happening. It is happening right before your eyes. What happened to Elijah Cummings? October 17th. When Trump was in El Paso. Trump was in Dallas, Texas. Trump was supposed to be killed in Dallas, Texas. Remember James Comey's tweet of the Lego set? The same scene that JFK was killed? Remember that. Okay. Peace out, guys. I gotta go.